Hi my lovelies, welcome back to my channel, and for everybody who is new, I'm Leorah and I'm so glad you found me. So welcome to this amazing video because today we're gonna go glassy. And that is what we're doing with this palette, and I say we because this is a collaboration video between myself and of course Katie and Angelica Leorah. So I'm going to tell you in just a second about those two beautiful souls, but I also want to of course introduce you to this collab. So the idea is we all have this palette. This is the native palette from XO Beauty, and this is how she looks. And I think like almost 2 weeks ago I had a review up on this palette on my channel with several looks and of course all my thoughts about this. So if you want, check that one out. I'm going to try to remember to link it up here in the cards. So this is how the palette looks, and we all have this palette. Now sweeties, you know that usually I'm leaning a little bit more colorful usually, but I think I can totally rock neutrals too, and you know, once in a while I'm really honestly just really enjoying this. So that is why we're using this palette again. Plus we thought because it is the native palette, we maybe could do as a theme for the collab, we could each one of us just talk a little bit about where we come from. Now for everybody who doesn't know, I live in Jerusalem, Israel, and I'm not really a native here. I moved here, when was that? A long time ago, but I'm not a native in that sense, but still it's my home. So that's why this is going to be my topic today. And the cool thing is that Angelica, she is from Sweden, so she's going to talk about Malmö because that is the city where she comes from, and Katie is from America, so she's going to talk about her place. Okay, so that is so cool because we are on 3 different continents, and it makes it so special because we all have our own little thing to give. Plus we also, in the way we are, we I think bring amazing things to the table here, different things, and this is where I'm going to introduce my collab partners. I do not believe that I have collabed with Angelica before. It's long overdue because I have a thing for everybody whose name is Angelica apparently. So she's a sweet, wonderful person. She is the kind of lady that I'm actually naturally vibing with. So what does she do on her channel? She's doing reviews, first impressions, rankings, dupes. That is actually also really cool because I personally would love to get more into duping palettes, but I'm sort of still at the stage in my life where I think I need to have everything. But yeah, so she does that, and she's a very gentle person. At least that's how it comes across, and I love that because I kind of always feel like my life is really crazy and I just need these ladies in my life, you know? So please feel free to check her out. She's really sweet, and she definitely deserves to have more subscribers, just as Katie. And now we get to Katie. Now Katie is a special case. Katie is also a very good friend of mine, and you wouldn't believe it, maybe. Honestly, Katie and I can't believe it either, because we could not be more like further away from each other when you judge it according to what normally people do. But for some reason we sort of hit it off. And if you go to her channel and check out her channel, you're going to understand why. She is seriously the only person in my life who has ever called me dude or chick. Because the way I'm calling everybody, hi my lovelies and sweeties and this and that, she is calling everybody dude and chick. She has kind of a strong language going on once in a while, and she knows, like she even said, please tell your subscribers that that is the case, you know? But sweeties, I am not judging. I love her because I see her with my heart, and she's incredibly talented. She is like, I think she is way more talented than I am, you know, and she's very much into colorful makeup. She's also like reviewing a lot of new makeup and doing first impressions and things like this on her channel, and I see her with my heart. I see the heart, you know, and I think that is what we all should do. We should just always reach out with the heart first, from heart to heart. And I think this is how life could be so much better, you know, because we're not going to limit ourselves. Plus, when our heart reaches out to someone else, it is always going to just be a blessing. It can never be wrong. It can never be wrong, you know? And this is how we feel for each other. She totally vibes with me. She can accept me for who I am, and I totally, absolutely accept her the way she is. And the same with Angelica, because we are all bringing different things to the table. There's always an audience for everybody, and I personally love the abundance in everything that has been created. So that is my introduction of for my 2 collab partners, please feel free to check out their channels. They will of course be linked in the description box down below, and I'm super excited that we're getting to collab together. Okay, so now what we're gonna do, I'm going to of course show you how I created this look with this palette. I'm also going to explain to you why I chose these colors, because there is a reason for that. And in the video I'm going to also go through a couple of points or facts about Jerusalem. So just to give you a little bit more information about things that maybe you're not aware of, because I think when people think about Jerusalem, they think it's like in a biblical story or something, and they couldn't believe that this is actually a very modern city now, you know, and things like this. So I'm going to give you a few facts throughout the time when I'm applying my makeup, and also afterwards when I come back. And at the very end of the video, I'm going to give you a bit of a slideshow to give you an impression of Jerusalem, and maybe also like the surrounding areas and things like this, so you just see a little bit where I live and how the vibe is in my country. Okay, sweeties, I hope you'll enjoy, and without further ado, let's go right into it. Hey sweeties, good morning. Here we are doing makeup again with one eye primed and one not, because of course on camera I'm only going to do this eye and this one later off camera. Okay, so you have seen already the palette that we're working with today. It's this beauty. This palette was gifted to me by Christine, who is mentioned so many times here on my channel because she is really such a hands-on supporter, like really, you know, so good. Anyway, so that is that, and I'm going to do a look which you saw of course in the intro, which is gold, because if you saw also my review that is already up on my channel, you probably know that I said in the review that this gold is probably the best gold that I have in my collection. Now, I don't have a huge collection when it comes to neutral palettes, but still, this is probably the best gold that I have. So that is one reason why I want to use this shade again. And also, I have 2 pages here of fun facts about Jerusalem. So yeah, I'm not going to bore you, I hope, okay, but I'm going to go through some of them. I just sort of browsed through the internet. This is from different websites. I cannot link all of this, but you'll find it. Just Google fun facts about Jerusalem, and then you'll get probably to the same websites. Anyway, so that's what we're doing today, and in connection to that, I'm going to talk about why Jerusalem is called the city of gold, Jerusalem of gold, and that is the connection to the palette. That's why I'm going to use this golden shade too. Okay, so let's just get rid of the creasing. Yeah, and I think what I'm gonna do is the look is gonna be probably kind of a little bit more simple, but maybe we're gonna like pull in something colorful for the under eye area or something, but for now it's gonna be neutral because this is a neutral palette. All right, so let's zoom in and let's get started. Maybe something like that. And I'm going to, you know what, today I'm going to do a transition shade. It just feels like this is a day for a transition shade, and I don't know, maybe this one, I don't know. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go in with this shade right here and use it as a transition shade, and let's just go in. I should put my glasses on. Okay, with the first fun fact. I don't know if it's fun, but it's a fact. Okay, so the first fact about Jerusalem is a walled city. Its walls are about 2.5 miles long, 40 feet tall, and 8 feet thick. Okay, of course we're talking here about the ancient Jerusalem, okay? And I should start working. We're talking here about the ancient Jerusalem, which has, of course, not so much to do with the size of Jerusalem now, because Jerusalem now it's a big city, you know? At least if you ask me, because I come originally from a little village where there are more cows than people. For my husband, if you ask him, because he is from LA, if you ask him, he says like Jerusalem is as big as our neighborhood was in LA. But anyway, so it's always, of course, a matter of your own, I guess, perception. But well, this is a nice transition shade, you know, just saying. So But that's what it is. The ancient Jerusalem was of course much smaller, and Jerusalem has grown all around it, and now it's a pretty spread out city, you know, as much as one can spread out in a small country like us, like ours. Okay, the next fun fact is there are 34 watchtowers along Jerusalem's walls, and there are 7 gates for traffic. Not such a fun fact, but it's a fact. All right, municipal law requires all structures to be covered in Jerusalem stone, preserving the historical look of the city. Okay, so Jerusalem stone is a thing. They're even making like sculptures and stuff like for, what's it called, pendants, you know, for necklaces to wear it. It is actually really, really beautiful. It's a very, very light stone in the sense of color, and it kind of leans like a light beige. Do I have a shade here like this? I don't know. No, not really. It's lighter than this. You know, it's much lighter than this, and it's sort of like between this and this, maybe. I don't know. It's a very light stone. Maybe, you know what, I'm going to show you pictures later. All right, so that is a very, very light stone, and it is super, super typical for our area here. So when people build homes, they are required to cover their houses from the outside with those stones, because I don't think anyone would build solidly with these kinds of stones. But the thing is that when during sunrise, but mostly during sunset, the light of the sun catches in those stones and turns everything into gold. And it's magical. It's beautiful. And I know that because I live here. But also when I came, let me just get a different brush. When I came to Jerusalem the first time, it was in the late afternoon during sunset. And this is the first time I saw Jerusalem in that light. And I knew that this is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to be. Now, once you live here, and I still don't have a brush. Wait. Once you live here, you don't see it so much anymore. Let's go maybe into this one right here. And I guess that's what always happens when things become normal, right? It's like, you know, when you're completely in love for the first time, you see your future husband or your future spouse or whatever, and all the reasons why you fell in love with that person sort of become normal, and then you kind of have to remind yourself. And I always used to enjoy it so much when my family came from Germany to visit, and they were like oohing and aahing about this and that and the other thing, things that I haven't seen because I didn't open my eyes to see them anymore, because I'm too busy. I'm running a household with 9 people and this and that and the other thing, you know? So just saying. Okay, next in line is Jerusalem's emblem has a sign has a lion representing the Lion of Judah, a wall like the city walls or the Western Wall, and an olive branch, in case you wanted to know. Okay, a testament to its long history, Jerusalem has more than 2,000 active archaeological sites. Now my husband is totally into that. I'm not. I'm like, I'd rather have a Sephora. Yeah, I know, I'm extremely shallow when it comes to that, but my husband is very much into archaeology, history, and all of these things. And he is having a, how does one say that in English? A field day? He's having a field day living here. Yeah, for me, you know, I'd have other preferences, but I mean, it is, we're living here, we're living on like real palpable history, you know, and that is kind of cool. Okay, I'm still probably not working enough, but this is gonna be a super easy and very quickly finished look. So I'm just gonna go in with my bone color matte and sort of blend out whatever is there to blend out. There is nothing to blend out, but it's just part of my routine. So that's why we're doing it. And then I'm going to give you a few more points here. Okay, so let's go back into this. Jerusalem is a holy site for all 3 Abrahamic faiths, which is, of course, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Okay, so that is, I guess, common knowledge. And in normal years, more than 3.5 million tourists visit Jerusalem, which, of course, also shows you that we are highly depending on tourism, which right now is a bit like zero, I would say. Yeah, so that is that. There are more than 50 Christian churches, 33 Muslim mosques and 300 Jewish synagogues in the city. Of course, these numbers might have changed. Most probably they have changed. I don't know from when this is. I think this is a couple years old. There are more than 60 museums in Jerusalem, but no Sephora and no altar. And okay, I could have both, you know? I don't have either this or that. I could have both, but yeah. Actually, one of you once said, maybe you are going to be the one who opens the first Sephora in Israel. Wouldn't that be a thing? All right. There are more than 1,500 public parks and gardens in Jerusalem. That's a lot of green space in the desert. You know, maybe if you look at the map, you see that we are basically in the middle of the Judean desert. One doesn't see it maybe so much because we have lived here, we as like the Jewish people, we have lived here and cultivated the land for a long time now, and there is like a big effort to plant trees and to, you know, to make it nice, because I think when the resettlement started, it was all very barren. You know, because like everybody who went through this land just cut down trees and used it for, I don't know, building their huts and burning as firewood and I don't know what. But now the country actually has changed a lot for the better, in that sense that we're actually having huge initiatives to build up the nature. You know, what is it, flora or fauna? Flora, that's what it is. I should probably tell you more about the flora and fauna, because this is what this palette is all about, but I don't really know a lot about stuff like that. So anyway, we're going on to the next point. Some of the olive trees in Jerusalem are more than 800 years old, and I am a living testament to that, because I'm much younger. But we do in our house, or in our garden I should say, we do have olive trees that are, I think we have one that is 500 years old and two that are like 300 plus years old. Of course, it's a bit hard to say how old exactly, but they're huge, like huge stems. You know, you can see that this is not like a tiny olive tree that was planted like, I don't know, 50 years ago. So, and that is amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Should I build up this shade more? I don't think so. Okay, I'm gonna go in to the gold. That is the shade I don't know, Kohai or something. And let's just put this on. And I've not sprayed my brush or anything, but I'm going to probably put on this shade also with my finger in a little bit. Alright, so this is beautiful, you know, these trees are beautiful. And then for me personally, to think what these trees have seen in this lifespan, you know, because this country has been wanted by a lot of people. Let's put it that way, okay? So what these trees must have seen in their life, like really, and they're still alive, you know, so that's amazing. Okay, this is now without a sprayed brush. Let's just do it with a sprayed brush, because that is definitely, I think, how one should use them. I also said that in my review, of course. Like that. Alright, so next point, where was I, by the way? Here. There are more than 26 wineries in and around Jerusalem, and that is also a newer development, because Israel didn't used to be very famous for their wines at all. And my husband is a wine collector, so he told me that that is actually an amazing thing that also has to do, of course, with like cultivating the land and investing into the land, you know, and that Israel has a couple of years ago even won an award for this, the best wine of I don't know. So, but it's great, you know. So, and I love wine. Yeah, occasionally. All right, there is a gazelle sanctuary less than a mile from the old city walls. That is true. I've not really seen a lot of them because they're probably hiding and stuff, because they're sort of encradled in between like huge streets and stuff like that. But yeah, that's true. All right, there is even an American football stadium donated by the Kraft family, who are owners of the New England Patriots. Yeah, that's true. Where we used to live pretty close to that stadium, which was kind of annoying, because when there are football games on or something, it was unbearable to get by there. But wait, I need a different brush. But that is that. it's true. We have a football stadium. Okay, Jerusalem is known for being, well, old. Very old. But it was also named one of the world's fastest growing high-tech hubs in 2015. And I still don't have a brush. Maybe this one? Maybe. Alright, so yeah, so that is true. We have actually a whole section which is very, very close to where I'm living now in the city. Dedicated to, like, it's like an industrial park with, like, how does one call this in English? It has like, it doesn't have factories in that sense, but it has these high-tech buildings, you know, like really super high-tech buildings. I don't know how to say that. Okay, so so this is just another side of Jerusalem, you know, that people that maybe just know the name from the scriptures or something, you know, don't know that it's actually a modern city, you know, it's actually a very modern city. Okay, I'm gonna skip a few points, but I'm gonna go next to maybe this one. Jerusalem hosts more than 30 annual festivals for everything from opera to film and books and wine tastings, and also like oud festivals. Like oud, it's an instrument, you know, where there are a lot of people coming. And we have also the Jerusalem Light Festival. That is of course a newer thing that was not included here because I think this article is a bit older, which is spectacular. You know, we have basically light sculptures all around the old city, which is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Of course, right now we're not doing anything. Okay, guests at the Jerusalem's King David Hotel have included Elizabeth Taylor, Winston Churchill, Prince Charles, Hillary Clinton, and Madonna. Great. Okay, the King David Hotel is quite a famous hotel with quite the history. Also, like during the British Mandate period and stuff like that, if you want to Google that, if you're interested in stuff like that. But also I got married there. That is why I remembered the Jerusalem King David Hotel. Okay, that is where I got married. Mrs. Goldberg. Okay, let me just go in with the darker matte again and just sort of build that up a tiny little bit more here. And I still have, actually we made it through the first page already. Okay, it says here, Jerusalem is safe. Statistically, Jerusalem is safer than most big cities its size anywhere else around the world. It is true that Israel is located in the most tumultuous, I don't know if that's right, tumultuous regions in the world, which is the Middle East. However, the crime rate, including numbers of assaults and arrests, is much lower than that of most European capitals and state capitals in the USA. All right, that is nice. I'm grateful for that one. All right, I think this is all I'm gonna do, honestly, here for the look. And of course, you saw that I probably had something colorful under my eye going on, which I'm gonna do off camera. Okay, let's just do a few more things and then I'm gonna go off and finish the look. Okay, Jerusalem is just as old as it is new. There are more than 2,000 active archaeological sites, it says here. That's a different website, so it's a bit repetitive. And over 200,000 new apartments and offices under construction. The joke around town is cranes are the official birds in Jerusalem. Oh yeah. With its millennia-long history, there's always more to discover underground from centuries past. At the same time, the city continues to grow and expand, making it more modern and advanced than you'd expect. And that is already sort of what I hinted at beforehand already, because it is a very, very modern city, you know? There are certain parts that you feel like you're transported back in time, because in certain parts nothing has changed, you know, which is amazing. It's sort of like, it's really, really cool. But yeah, there is a lot of growth going on, which is absolutely beautiful, and I love it, you know? Okay, let me just finish this look, and when I come back, there's not going to be swatches because that is what you have my review video for, but I'm going to come back and give you a few more points about where I'm coming from, and at the end of the video there is going to be some pictures. Okay, so please stay tuned, it's coming right up. Okay, sweeties, here's the finished look, which you already, of course, know from the intro. Okay, so let me just maybe zoom you in a tiny little bit so you can see a little bit closer up what I did. And in a second, I'm going to also explain to you what I did, of course, when I was off camera. Okay, so that is it. That's all you get. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about this because of course I have to show you. I used, of course, a very, very nice bright blue, medium, like kind of a mid-range blue. It's all going to be linked in the description box, from Pupa Milano, and that is what I have on my waterline. And under my waterline, I used this shimmer shade and deepened it up a little bit with this matte, and I blended it out with this, which is kind of a topper shade. These two are a little bit like thinner because they are topper shades. And then in the inner corner, I have this shade, and also as a highlighter all over my face, I have this shade. Sweeties, this palette, if I were to travel ever again in my life, I would definitely have this with me. You know why? Because you have highlighter in there. If you're my skin tone, you also have face products in there. You can use this for contouring or for bronzing, you know, and you will always have a very, very classy look that makes you just look fresh and beautiful and young and amazing, you know. I would probably also take some kind of colorful palette with me, but sometimes it's just good to be like this, you know, because it's gorgeous. Yeah, so anyway, that is what I did. And on my lips, I actually have this lipstick here from Essence, and this is old. I don't think this is even that it exists anymore, but I wanted to show you this one because honestly, I think it's a bit dark for me for my preference, but I bought this because it's from the Adventure Awaits line, okay? And I think that was maybe the summer release of 2019, not 100% sure, but the shade name is 01 Kisses from the Orient, and that is why I bought it, just for the name, because this is the Orient. I'm living in the Orient where it all happens, and I'm sending you hugs and kisses every single time I'm ending my videos, so that is why I bought that lipstick. Okay, now before we go in the slideshow, I want to give you a few more points here because we still have to finish the second page, all right? So I hope this is not boring, but you know, just hang out with me, all right? So next point is the Mount of Olives is the world's oldest cemetery that is still working. There's still people buried there or being buried there. You know? Okay, so it says here, Jerusalem's Mount of Olives is the oldest still active burial site in the world, one of the most recognizable landmarks of the city, valued by Jews and Christians alike. Mount of Olives has been a burial site for centuries. It houses more than 150,000 Jewish graves, and the number keeps growing. Well, that is lovely. The number keeps growing. Okay, so just throwing that in. Then the other thing is it snows in Jerusalem. Yes, we live basically in a desert, but we are pretty high here. So that's why once in a while it snows. The snow doesn't stick around, you know? It maybe stays for a couple of hours or something, but it usually doesn't stick around. But anyway, it says here, it snows in Jerusalem. It is not uncommon to snow in Jerusalem in winter, and in the summer nights it can get chilly. Now that is depending on whom you ask, because if you're European like I am, and if you're new here you don't know, I was born and raised in Germany, so I'm European heart and soul, really. But for me, winter here is not a winter, you know, it's not. It's like trying hard but not getting there, you know what I mean? But anyway, I'm very spoiled when it comes to heat because I've been living here for so long. So yeah, it can get chilly, I guess. Okay, most of southern Israel is considered a desert, and the central part of the country, which includes the Jerusalem area, is characterized by warm, semi-arid climate. Arid means dry. Okay, however, at the elevation of over 700 meters above sea level, which is about 2,500 feet, Jerusalem tends to stay much cooler than her coastal sister Tel Aviv. In Tel Aviv, it gets so humid and hot that you cannot stand it during the summer. It's impossible to live there if you're not used to it. So I feel like here in the mountains, there's always a breeze. It's a warm breeze, of course, because it's wind from the desert, but still there is a breeze. And as long as the air moves, it's good, you know? So anyway, that is that. 2 more points, sweeties. You can find historical sites everywhere. Walking around residential Jerusalem, you can walk across a historical site at any step. Even though in biblical times, Jerusalem was significantly smaller, as we already spoke about at the beginning, and for the most part restricted by city walls, random historical sites are scattered throughout the modern city. A great example of that is a 2,000-plus-year-old burial chamber of Chasen, an ancient naval commander tucked away in the middle of a modern residential area of Rechavia, which is a neighborhood in Jerusalem. Okay, and one more thing, you can see Bethlehem from Jerusalem. And it's kind of cool, probably more for Christians than for us Jews, but you can see Bethlehem from Jerusalem. And the thing is, I used to live at the southern end of Jerusalem. Now I live at the northern end because we moved, but I used to live in a neighborhood which is called Gilo. And from there, actually, from the southern side of Gilo, you could actually really see Bethlehem, you know? It's really, really cool. Anyway, it says here, Jerusalem and Bethlehem are two distinct cities, so one would expect them to be separated by quite some distance, but in reality, you could even walk over from one to the other. It is less than the 10K you just ran the other month. Yeah, I ran 10K, definitely. You don't get a medal for this one, though. If you do decide to take this trek, make sure you don't do it in the heat of the summer, and keep in mind you will have to cross a security crossing. Okay, we have security crossings all over the place. We just have to keep the peace somehow. It is difficult for all of us, for all sides, but I'm not getting into these kinds of politics here on my channel. There is no room for this because no, not going there. But yeah, so that is just part of our lives here, you know? Anyway, so these are a few facts about Jerusalem. Of course, I could do an entire video just about Israel in general, about the nature, and just giving you pictures and impressions, because it is actually a really, really beautiful country. We have so many landmarks that are outstanding in the world and just only happen here, which is quite amazing because we are a tiny country. We are so tiny that I don't even know. It's tiny, you know, like really tiny. Okay, so sweeties, that is it. I hope you did enjoy this. So in just a second, I'm going to let you see the slideshow that is coming right up. But before that, of course, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel because I would absolutely love to have you here. If you have comments or questions or anything, please leave them in the comment section down below. Of course, check out my description box because you will find Katie's channel and of course Angelica's channel linked there, and also my discount codes with different brands if you want to use them, and also all the makeup that I have used. So besides that, there's nothing much left to say, but enjoy the slideshow with all the pictures of my city and maybe surrounding areas, depending on what I can find. The pictures are not my property. I'm going to take them just from the internet. So just so you know, to be completely transparent here, it's not my property, okay? So that is that. And with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and I see you here next time on my channel for my next video. And up until then, definitely go ahead and sparkle. Hugs and kisses. Bye.